So I just ate some more, one more meatball that mom gave me, and she made herself a salad, and I ate 2 potatoes and sour cream and some chocolate milk. And I was just walking around the house like this, and it was like when I looked at the trees in the season, it was like I could play RS for my life. I didn't have to work, and I could be in the lilies if it wasn't for the eyes of mom, who was so good. But it was just blessed that I made it past the B community. And all my Lake and Montrose Harbor and Rivani and all Donegan in the church and Beyonce and CB and Drake versus the heavens of the white thought versus the eyes of Maurice Rogers, the most intellectual kid around. And I could be in the summer and I could be with my magic jar and the lilies of water and oceans and all that's meant for a man to enjoy versus the cacophony of and their souls against their communities and their buildings and their architecture that were like the Greeks with their own philosophy, but all that was meant for a man to enjoy, the young Pilar, the east to west of the German soul. But the oppressors said, we see his soul, but the lilies of the magic jar was of the essence, and they were mad. They said, but this was after I went to Staples to fax my paper, and after I ate meatballs before mom came, and now I was just walking around the house, the average 16, 14 walks, and Malcolm X was around while I was eating. They hiding the attack, and they said, we have no shame. But I could see that somewhere, if it wasn't for mom, OP, then I could live in my own apartment. If I had to get a job, then I could get a job. But I could be free because I already worked at Hardee's and God had favored me. So I could be in my zone. But the question was if I had to be a doctor, but it wasn't. It was the white man and the nigger said, we see in downtown, we see in our public communities, we see in our institution, we see in our government, we see in our eyes, we see in our land from east to west, in our film industry, we will El Meek. With the soul of Kabi, that hidden lover of intelligence, of the heart that God ordained in his soul, was from the east to west, and it made them mad. And they said, we see, but what made them even more mad is that Morris bitch them up into their little corners in the safety of the system, and they said, we don't care. How many times did I walk into this room in the night in 2019 and the albinos be all around? As I laid down, they would try to be right there. When I laid down, that was not you in 2017. But they said nobody will see. They said nobody sees our soul, but the magic drawer was the keeper of history, but it was only the clash of the church and mom and the individuality of Morris that he couldn't live another day because they were mad. These are our schools. These are our eyes of authority, they cried. But God said, I see breeze, but the Satanists said, we are God, and they try to cover up the connection between God and Morris and say nobody will see. This is our soul of honor. They said we will make him react before God can get to him. Nobody will see our souls. But Marcus had introduced me to the girl, and the lilies were shining, and Marvin had scolded Mark J the other day. Marvin had scolded Mark J the other day. But man, my image had saliva in it, but you couldn't see. The albino mirrors of 2009, the first stinky that I could see right now, the first stinky that I ever had versus like, man, just Bulges of 2015, and then the Saliva of 2017 or 2019 that was long after me, this room, when I lived in this room, and the Satanists were just mad. We will not lose, they said, as I went to Staples.